After about 3 weeks and 4 weather-related cancellations, we're finally back at West Aurora High School for badminton for the second time. We've had, I think, 3 baseball games and a softball game, all postponed due to either cold or rain or, in the case of today, snow. And that brings us back indoors as we get ready to bring you some West Aurora badminton. My partner's Mike Napolitano. I'm Aaron Schellen. And last time we were here, Mike, West, I don't think they didn't lose a single match, and I think they only lost 1 set out of the 15 matches that went on. They were pretty dominant in that last outing we were here for.
Yeah, that was a pretty, as you said, dominant display out there on the courts, and I'm expecting to see a lot of the same today. Not sure the caliber of the opponents they're facing here with Oswego East, but we're going to see some good matches here today, doubles and singles on the way.
Yep, we're starting with the doubles matches, all four sides just sort of getting loose here, getting warmed up as they get ready. So we have 5 doubles matches followed by 10 singles matches, and we'll give you scores and who's on what court as that information is provided. But what we do know is that West Aurora is taking on Oswego East. The Wolves come to town here today, and the matchups for the 4 courts as we start all the way down to our right. This is the number 5 team of Natalie Jarrell and Caroline Escobedo for West Aurora. And for Oswego East, Jessica Salinas and Aria Dye for Oswego East. Court 3 is doubles team 4. That's Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock taking on Emmy Rasa and Victoria Ortiz for the Wolves. Court 2, which is doubles team 3 for West Aurora, is Lacular La and Natalie Castaneda. And for Oswego East, it'll be Kirthana Gradubali and Lauren Fox. And then all the way down on what's considered Court 1, matchup number 2 for West Aurora. That's Jordan Nolan and Julia Kanigi taking on Vanella Vacati and Sri Siva for Oswego East. And I apologize ahead of time if I butcher any of the names for Oswego East. I will give you my best effort 100% of the time. So both teams getting ready, getting loose.
Looks like we are actually starting over here on Court 1. So I believe we are underway.
Actually, I think I had the courts. I don't have the courts backwards, do I? I might have the courts backwards.
You might, but I mean, you were correct on the names, so for all intents and purposes, this is Court 1, because I remember Julia Kanigi last time we were here, and she is down over here. So
all right. I thought it may have been backwards here, but we'll get that information. At any rate, this is Julia Kanigi and Jordan Nolan against Vanella Vacati and Sri Siva, and yeah, that match looks like it's underway. So the only match that's yet to get underway in the doubles pairing for Oswego East, that'll be Krisha Majmundar and Nishka Bijumalia for the Wolves, and Zoe Arsenault and Megan Tierney for West Aurora. And we're just going to sort of bounce around. We'll bounce from court to court to court and kind of talk about what we're seeing, but we won't spend an inordinate amount of time on any one court, as we want to give all these girls sort of fair and equal opportunity as we can. If we see something's interesting and we know we're dealing with maybe the end of a set or the end of a match, we'll hang there and see what we can see towards the end. But we're underway down here in Court 1, so this will be a service for Oswego East. And Birdie is put to the outside. And again, if you're just watching badminton for the first time, very similar to tennis as far as the court setup goes. You've got the outside gray lines on each side of the court, and then on the back, and then on the end line is considered inbounds for doubles matches and out of bounds for singles matches. And much like tennis, you have to serve it to the other side of the court. So if you're serving from the left, you got to serve it over to the right side. It has to land in front of that, or behind rather, the gray line that's down there on the court. And I think the most interesting thing to me is the lack of referees for each match. These matches are all fully self-managed by the teams that are out there, so self-governed, if you will, by the young ladies out there on the court.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, we're going to look at the alleys for these double matches, as you were describing, the alleys, the side alleys that make up the edges on your right and left side of the courts, and then the back alley is also in play, as you mentioned. You also talked about having to serve it across the center line, just like tennis. And yes, the honor system, though, is what gets me here, and it's really nice to see, though, that sportsmanship is welcome here, and that everybody, for the most part, plays by the rules.
Yeah, I mean, I've done half a dozen or so badminton matches here at West over the last couple of years, and I don't think I've seen one I say active disagreement. You know, they tend to come together at the net if there's any question or any concern about whether it was in or out or long or whatever, and they tend to just figure it out, you know, amongst themselves, and that's I like that. So you want to swing over to, I guess, court 3 here?
Yes, we're right there as we are now.
And that is, unless I've got myself backwards, that's Lacular La and Natalie Castaneda, I believe.
That looks correct to me, if I can remember faces from last time.
Yeah, it's been a month, but we'll do our best to remember. And for Oswego East, that is Kirtana Gradubali and Lauren Fox.
You know, another thing that I've noticed is different with badminton compared to tennis is the serve comes from the player in front rather than the player behind the court serving in, especially because the shuttlecock doesn't fly as far as a tennis ball. Another thing, too, is they are willing to throw it over the net. Typically, you know, volleyball or tennis, that's kind of a no-no. You're either supposed to go under the net in volleyball or, I guess, just get a new tennis ball to send over.
Right. I mean, it makes sense. The birdie, the shuttlecock, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't travel nearly as fast. So serving from the front, there's a lot more. The importance is more placed on the placement of the shot rather than necessarily the speed of the shot. Although you will see the spikes, the slams like you see in tennis. The shuttlecock slows down very quickly.
Yes.
You know, once it gets caught up in the wind, it slows, or in the breeze, it slows down very, very quickly. So
definitely a different flight path.
Yes.
Considering that the air resistance comes into play differently. That was a beautiful shot, and that was a drive to that back alley there, and Oswego East earns the point.
Yeah, it was a nice shot. You don't see a lot of those sort of hard shots from the back line, but we saw one there. And there's a nice drop shot by Lacular La, but a rebound attempt goes wide, so another point for Oswego East. Let's hop on over to court number 2, where we've got Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock for West Aurora, and Emmy Rausa and Victoria Ortiz for Oswego East. And just as we say that, Oswego East drops a point in. And what we've seen from the early going is, at least to my untrained eye, we're seeing a kind of quick, large barrage of points here for the Wolves on almost every court. There's another one right there.
Thus far, yeah. This is another thing that we will have to bring up, too, is as you see Oswego in their matching uniforms, but West Aurora not, as there is a tie-dye shirt out there. Now, Aaron and I were talking about this before the broadcast, possibly coming up with theories as to why this could be. My guess was maybe this is a senior night.
Maybe.
But we will have to get proper confirmation before we give you any of that news. But just to let you know, West Aurora is definitely on the same team here, just wearing two different uniforms.
Yeah, we got a couple of different tie-dye jerseys. We've got the purple and white tie-dye, and then we've got the sort of the aqua and green down to our right. But, yeah, Oswego East picking up some points here in the early going. You want to hop over to court 1?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Court 1, Natalie Jarrell and Caroline Escobedo for West Aurora, and for Oswego East, Jessica Salinas and Aria Dye. There's a point for West. That shot into the net.
Another case of tie-dye, but in this case, both players have them on, so a little bit of a matching, not a collage of colors, although it is still tie-dye.
Bit of an unforced error there for West as the service goes into the net, gives gives Oswego East a chance, and that was hit over the net on the rebound. That ball landed on, the shuttlecock landed on the ground, and then West was able to knock it over the net, but that doesn't count. There's a shot from the front line that I think went, no, I was going to say, I thought that went wide. Landed on that back. Yeah, we don't get a great angle of that back line from where we sit.
I was in the same boat as you. I thought that had been a point for West Aurora, but they deemed that went in.
And there's another easy point for Oswego East. So
yeah, it was a nice behind-the-back shot there from West Aurora, but a nice light tap over the net to place that.
And I think we already have a first set completion here going to the Wolves. That was quick. Yeah. And we just had a finish down on court 4 as well. Not sure who got the last point, so we wait for that one to be finalized. So let's switch back to court 3, I guess. And we'll watch Lacular and Natalie against Kirtana Gradubali and Lauren Fox. So we've got best of 3 up to 21. And that serve, it's a good serve for West, lands just inside that front gray line down there.
A little bit of what they call a feint.
A feint, okay.
During the serve. It's any kind of deception that you can use to kind of get the other players moving.
I like that. Good
really
volley.
Nice volley there, too.
Good volley, and I think it may have gone long. Yep, went long, so that'll be a point for Oswego East. And court 2 also finished, so we only have court 3 going on here in set number 1, and I believe all 3 sets, we'll see, but I believe all 3 sets went to Oswego East. They're going to run the scores up to us here periodically, so we'll be able to give those scores to you.
That last serve from Oswego East, they ended up losing the point there. That red line that you see is not the actual center line here on this court. There is a gray center line. That's just lines on the gym floor that are used for other purposes.
It's the volley. They're the volleyball lines, I believe.
A little bit trickier on this court and the middle court because they're a little bit closer to that center line for badminton.
Yep, you need to be paying attention to those gray lines. Those red lines are the front and back court lines for volleyball.
But really nice by West to identify that and let that serve drop, and they win the point. Another volley here.
And it looks like that's going to go wide. This match is still going on, so we'll stick with court 3 because it's the only one that's still in set number 1. So we've got one more doubles match after this one, and that will start on whichever court finishes their best of 3 first. There's another point for Oswego East here on court 2, though.
Matches have started back up on both courts 3 and 4 over here to my right.
I want to stick with court 2 just because it's the only one that's still in that first match. So unsure what the scores are, but since it's still going on, I'd like to at least hang around for another point or two and see what we see. There's another point for West, so a couple points in a row for the Blackhawks.
There's a low serve on that one, but able to be volleyed for a moment.
That was a nice shot from the back line by Castaneda, though. That was a hard, low line drive, hard to return as it was played down around the ankles. I like those West shirts. I like and I think West may have won set number 1 here on court 2 as they pick up the final point.
I believe you're correct.
So let's head over to court 1. But as I was saying, I like those West badminton shirts. The West W with the shuttlecock kind of in between the peak of the W. So over on court number 4 here, we've got, this is Jordan Nolan and Julia Knigge. They lost set 1 and unsure how set 2 has started, but what I can tell you is that it's Oswego East serve.
After that first set, West will be positioned further from myself and Aaron on all the courts except for this last one that we were just on here, where they will be switching sides and West will actually be closer to us. So you'll get a better look as we shift down to my right here of those bright tie-dye shirts.
Yeah, we'll go take a look at those in just a second. I want to switch over to court 1. We can do that.
Yeah, might as well. These two are a little bit more underway as the scores were reported a little bit quicker. West on that far side.
Yep, this is Natalie Jarrell and Caroline Escobedo. They believe they lost set number 1. Again, the only determining factor we have is who scored the final point. That's the only way we can tell, and we assume the team that scored the final point won the set, which would make sense. And I believe in three of 4 sets that went to Oswego East. But there's the tie-dye. You see one of them's got a little bit more green in it than the other one does, but I love a good tie-dye shirt. Have you ever tried to tie-dye a shirt, Mike?
So fun story, I was supposed to back when I was an ambassador in junior high.
Okay.
And I was sick for tie-dye day, so somebody else made the shirt for me. So I have the tie-dye shirt. I just didn't get to make it myself.
Yeah, it's a process. Like it's not easy, you know, and you have to be fairly creative and good with art to really understand angles and things like that. It's not as simple as just putting a rubber band around a shirt and dipping it in dye. So yeah, it's a challenge.
You're telling me I can't just take Crayola crayons?
No.
Draw some circles?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, then there goes all my talent.
So that shot hits the top of the net and lands for a West point. Blackhawks looking to win set 2 here and keep this one alive. And there's a nice spike right from the front to give West another point. Blackhawks a couple of points right in a row here. So our next scheduled, I say scheduled because given the way the weather has gone, we could be dealing with a tsunami or hurricane or tornadoes or
Illinois weather
or a drought on Friday. We are scheduled to be back here Friday afternoon for softball. Looking forward to getting a girls softball game in. And then next week we're off. We don't have anything on the books next week, but starting after that, things pick up a little bit more, and we're looking at about 2 to 3 games a week through the middle of May. We've got some soccer and a lot of baseball and a lot of softball for you. So that's kind of what's on the agenda, but of course that's all weather permitting.
I can tell you one thing today is that the parents, coaches, players, all alike, including ourselves, are happy that this is indoor.
Yeah.
Because the weather today, it doesn't look like April outside.
No. It's hard to believe a month ago it was 70 degrees outside, and today it's snowing. But such is life. Let's hop over to court 2, where we've got, this is Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock against Emmy Rausa and Victoria Ortiz. This was another one I think went the way of Oswego East in set 1. There's a serve that lands short. Again, that self-regulation, so Oswego East called it short, so that's the call.
Yeah, the serve not only has to cross that center line, but it has to enter the back third of the court. It can't land in this short rectangular box that you see right extending from the net to where the players are serving from at that other gray line that goes not perpendicular, but the same length of the net there.
Right. I imagine, though, that if the player chooses to play the shuttlecock in front of that gray line, then it's considered good, right? Just like, you know, if you effort a ball that's out and you touch it, then yeah, it counts as a point.
Absolutely.
There is service for Oswego East and into the net. West puts that one.
Really good placement of West to get their opponents moving laterally side to side, but just not able to get that final volley over the net. And we talked about this last time, Aaron. This is less of a game of getting your opponent to move forward and backwards like tennis, and more side to side, I believe, right? Or was that no? That
it was the other way.
around.
It was the other way around. In tennis, you know, the goal, because you're able to hit the tennis ball with so much velocity, the goal is to get your opponent moving back and forth because their momentum carrying them to the right while you're hitting the ball back to the left. But here, what we're seeing is a lot of trying to hit the ball trying to hit the shuttlecock with some velocity from that back line to get, especially in a singles match, trying to get your opponent moving back. And then on the return shot, you try those drop shots over the net or vice versa. Because, again, it's a lot easier to get back on a shuttlecock than it is on a tennis ball because it's not moving quite as quickly. So you're trying to get them moving forward to back versus left to right. And I think here, you know, it's more about not timing, but it's more about positioning. You know, there's not a lot of open space out there with two players on either side, but just trying to find those open spots like Oswego East did right there, just that open spot in between the front line and the back line to pick up a point.
There's a really nice kill shot from Denise Tellez before that last point that eventually went to Oswego East, but this kind of is going back and forth, it looks like, on this court.
Mm-hmm. And I think I don't know if we're done over on court 1, but set number 2 is over. And I did see a fist bump, so I'm hoping that fist bump means victory in set 2 for West Aurora. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they come back out for a third set, or we'll see if the 5th doubles match takes over on court 1. Let's switch over to court 3 now, which was Lacular La and Natalie Castaneda against Greta Bali, and Lauren Fox. We think West won set 1 over here, or set 1 of 3 on court 3. And that, I think, went long. A little bit hard to tell from where I'm standing, but it appears it went long, and it'll be a service for the Blackhawks.
Last time we were on this court, there were a couple of really nice volleys. That one just goes wide and out. We've seen a little bit more of that tennis strategy here, though, even though it was doubles matches all throughout this early portion, is moving your opponents left to right rather than forward and back. Just not able to get that perfect placement to land the birdie in the alley. As there was another nice volley. West earns that point on the miss from Oswego East.
Yeah, and I think maybe we got a little over, and I don't say you and I got a little overconfident just watching West dominate in their last matchup where they won all 15 matches and they only lost 1 set out of those 15 matches. You just expect them to come in and dominate again, and you forget that there's another team that they're playing,
yeah.
and it doesn't always work out that way. So a good volley here on court 3 into the net. There's a point for West, and over on court 4, and I think West may have just taken this in a straight set sweep, as I think all 4. Let's head over to court 2 because it's the only match that's still going on. So I will tell you, over on court 1, Natalie Jarrell and Caroline Escobedo are back out on the court, so that tells me there will be a third set over there.
What's nice about having a third set is, as long as Aaron said before, we can see who wins the last point. We know who's won that set,
right?
And of course that matchup in general, rather than, you know, have they won the first 2 and are they done? Or are they not going to play a third? Or in this case, they've split.
Yep, and we do have 3 courts that are empty right now. If there is, as the doubles matches finish, they will start to filter in singles players as they free up from their doubles matches. So once we get those court assignments, we will let you know.
As you mentioned, though, Aaron, we do have a 5th doubles match. So as soon as one of these courts opens up, the 5th doubles match will begin there.
And I believe that's what we're looking at down over here on court 4. I think this is Krisha Majmundar and Nishka Bijumalia getting warm for Oswego East down on court 4. I believe, I could be completely wrong, but we are just waiting to, like I said, we're waiting to get that, waiting for the runner to come up, and I believe we're going to have our first runner here.
Got some scores.
And we did just have a finish on court 2 as well.
Court 2 is done, yes.
Did you see who got the final point over there?
I did not. We were watching court 1, but both sides going to report their scores to their coaches, and we'll see if a third set is needed. I'm seeing some fist bumps on the side of Oswego East, though, so I'm guessing they took that one, whether that be just the set or the matchup in general. On court 1 service.
All right, so based on the information that I have at my disposal right now, so it looks like court 3, which was Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock, I believe that went straight sets to Oswego East.
Okay, I did see fist bumps. That's what I was telling.
So over on court 4, which was Jordan Nolan and Julia Kanigi against Vanella Vicardi and Sri Siva, that was a straight set West win, 17 and 15 on court 4. Court 3 was Lacular La, Natalie Castaneda against Kirthana Gradubali and Lauren Fox. That was a straight set, 19 and 8 for West Aurora, so 21-19, 21-8. Court 2, Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock against Emmy Rausa and Victoria Ortiz was 21-8, or they lost in straight sets. They lost 21-8, and then we're waiting on the score for the second set. And over on court 1, we are actually in a third set. Natalie Jarrell and Caroline Escobedo lost set 1, 21-13. They won set 2, 21-18. So we're in set 3 over here. And then all the way down to our left, once this match gets started, we'll bring it to you. That's Zoe Arsenault and Megan Tierney against Maj Mundar and Bijou Malia. So once they're done warming up, we'll give you a little bit of visibility to that. But yeah, court 1 right now is Jarrell and Escobedo in set number 3. So West has taken 2 of the 3 doubles matches so far here this afternoon. Looking to go 3 out of 4 if they can emerge victorious, and there's a point for Oswego East.
Possibly a little bit more dominant than we had thought, I think, at first, because I thought Oswego East had won a couple more sets there, but seeming that the scores have gone towards West Aurora even on today's matchup. But definitely a more formidable opponent in Oswego East than West saw last time we were out here.
Which was one of the Plainfield schools. I want to say Plainfield Central, maybe?
That sounds correct to me.
Okay.
It's been a while, though.
Yeah, like I said, it was about a month. All right, so I think they switched sides at the midpoint of set 3, so that's what we see here is the 2 teams switch sides. So once one team gets to 11, they'll switch sides. And there's a point for West. And that's court 1 is still warming up, or court 4, excuse me, is still warming up. So we're just going to stick with court 1 for now. And then courts 2 and 3 will start singles matches as soon as those players have rehydrated and are ready to go. And again, once we get those court assignments, we'll bring those to you. There are 10 singles matches.
It almost looks like we have a singles match starting up now, but they're picking up the pieces of the birdies that have fallen off and are scattered across the courts. That's another thing, too. This is actually just a warm-up on court 3.
Court 3. And again, we'll get you those assignments. We wait for the West Aurora coaching staff to bring that information up to us. As soon as we get that, we will pass it along. Waiting on head coach Steve Wallace, who's been great. You know, we've only had 2 West Aurora matches so far here this spring. Both have been badminton, and Coach Wallace has been outstanding. He's been incredibly accommodating for us and making sure we have the information that we need so that we can do our best to bring you these matches in full with all the accurate information, or as accurate information as we can. So appreciate Coach Wallace, and as always, thank you to Jason Buckley, who is extremely accommodating. He let us in, so we weren't standing out in the snow today, waiting to get into the schools. So appreciate Jason as well.
There's another point for West Aurora.
And he's starting to get down to the wire here, right? We know we're already at kind of the 11-point mark since they switched sides. You got to think that we're coming to an end here at some point, and there's another point for West. So back-to-back-to-back points here for the Blackhawks in set 3.
Still just warming up on courts 3 and 4. Nothing going on court 2. So if you are worried you're missing some action elsewhere, don't be.
You are not. We'll stick with court 1 here for a minute. Court 4 is about ready to get started as both teams are on their side of the court. And there's a point, I think, for the Blackhawks, unless that landed out. Nope, that'll be a point for West.
He had a really nice run there. Only one of those last 5 points, or last 5 volleys, going to Oswego East.
Here's a good volley, and there's a point for West as the shot eludes the racket of the Oswego East player. Again, this is probably, I think this is 5 out of the last 6 points have gone the way of the Blackhawks.
Yes.
And there's a nice shot just right over the racket of that player that was standing on the front line, and that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Not so much getting your opponents moving, but just trying to find those empty spaces on the court to drop that shuttlecock. And West did a nice job there as point goes over to Oswego East.
That goes back to the flight path that we were talking about earlier. If you can get it to die out early on your opponent, even if it's going towards your opponent, sometimes that's going to be a swing and a miss. As spring has supposed to be upon us, and we're supposed to have some baseball.
It is not. It is not.
If I could use a term that is supposed to be accurate for April.
It is not. It just isn't. I don't think. Did the groundhog see a shadow? I don't remember.
So the groundhog did not see his shadow.
Which meant in early spring, right?
We're supposed to be out of the woods, but then I also heard that the groundhog is only right about 33% of the time throughout his
So like a normal meteorologist.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, hey, for a 330 average gets you in the baseball
gets you in the Hall of Fame. Doesn't get you in, it doesn't get you in the Weather Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So court 1 is done. I believe it went the way of the Blackhawks. You and I were talking about the weather as it finished, but I believe it went the way of the Blackhawks. Let's swing over to court 4 and watch Zoe and Megan take on Majmundar and Bijou Malia over on court number 4. The service here for the Wolves. Shot towards the back line and just an easy point for West there. And that's, I guess, sort of your perfect type of play in this sport. Just get that player right to the back line and just drop that spike down right over the net. As that shot goes wide, that'll be a point for the Wolves.
Oswego's serve.
The shot towards the back line, and the return goes long.
That was a volley of 5 on that one.
Yeah, once you get up to like 5 or 6, it starts to get intense, right? Like
that's what I think of when I think volley. Of course, anything by definition is a volley,
right.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think of that intense back and forth
right.
action going on for a little while longer. There's a fault on the serve, but this goes to Oswego East.
We'll watch this for another couple points, and then we'll switch over to our first singles match, which is going on. And we don't have the court assignments yet, so I'm not entirely sure who this is on either side, but we'll figure that out once we're given those assignments.
I've seen a couple of jump shots in this singles match, so we'll get over there as soon as possible as their birdie lands in the way of the service in the doubles match. So they had to pause momentarily.
Return into the net. There's a point for West.
More tie-dye shirts in this doubles matchup.
Yeah, different colors.
Earlier.
We got different color tie-dye here in this match.
A little bit of yellow and pink, a little bit of like pink and white and orange.
Yep, yellow. You got some yellow, pink, and orange on the front line, and kind of more white, I think, on the back line with some pink and orange in there as well, as that shot lands in for a point for the Blackhawks. So, yeah, again, our next scheduled match is, or broadcast, I guess, is supposed to be Friday. As of right now, dry, coolish, low 50s. But I was looking at the weather for next week when we don't have any games scheduled. 60 degrees and sunny every day.
Of course it is. Of course.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
The only other instance that would be the case next week if we did have games, would they be all inside?
Right. Yeah, we don't have very many inside broadcasts during spring sports. We got badminton, we got boys volleyball. Those are the two that would potentially be inside. Technically soccer, we're inside. The girls are outside, right, but we're inside. And then obviously baseball and softball, we are standing right down the left field line dealing with the elements.
That'll be fun.
It gets cold.
I love baseball.
It gets cold. It gets cold.
I do.
It gets cold, but you don't think about it. When you're calling the game, you just don't think about it. It's before the game starts and after the game ends where you really start to feel the effects. But when the game's going on, you just don't worry about it.
See, that was the other way around when I actually played high school baseball. Is you thought about it the entire time you're standing there on the bench, but as soon as you're, of course, running the bases or leaving, you're like, oh, thank goodness I am headed home to a warm environment.
Yes. There's another point for the Blackhawks as that shot lands wide.
They'll switch up the servers here and resume.
Again, we will switch over to court 3 as soon as we know who is on court 3. Just, again, waiting for Coach Wallace to bring us the court assignments as he has them.
Still no singles matches beginning on courts 2 or 1. I would think that they would fill those as soon as the courts are available, but they may still be waiting for this doubles match to end and get some of those players freed up. I'm not sure who's scheduled to be over there.
Yeah, it's a combination, right? Because if, right now there's 2 Oswego East players down here, and if their 2 singles matches don't line up with who's free for West Aurora and the other way around, you may just not be able to play.
Oswego East earning another point. They will serve again, this time from the left box.
And it's going to be an ace.
This time from the right.
Looked like it landed in the alley on that far side of the court, but ruled a point, from our angle.
Well, this is still doubles. It can land in the alleys.
On the serve it can, because in tennis it can't.
I believe on the serve it can.
Okay.
As long as it crosses, the only rule that I've seen is as long as it crosses that center line.
Okay, all right.
And it has to be in the back third of the court.
Got it, okay.
But that would be something to research. I may have to do my homework on that.
I think we have one more.
Badminton on the schedule.
Yes.
Badminton afternoon. That's another point for Oswego East there. Got to think they're coming to a close in this set.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here, hopefully in the next point or two. And we got another match warming up over on court 2 as well. So hopefully they'll get us some assignments here shortly. But set 1 still going on over on court 4.
That was a good kill shot from West as they earn the point, but miss on that volley. So the serve will go back to Oswego East.
So it looks like we do have singles matches all lined up on courts 1, 2, and 3 now. Those are starting to warm up, and I see Coach Wallace standing on the stairs working his way up here, so we should be getting those assignments here relatively soon.
That lands out of bounds, so another point for Oswego East, and that is the final point. So Oswego takes that set there. I believe that was set 1,
yep,
right?
That was just set 1, so the Blackhawks do take set 1. Let's hop over to court 3. This has been going on for a while, and as soon as we get those assignments, we'll pass them along. But this one's been going on for quite some time. This started at about the same time as set 1 did for the doubles match that's going on, and it's still going here on court 3. There's a nice shot right down the near line.
A couple of really athletic, acrobatic volleys, as that is the last point. So that I believe that goes to Oswego East there.
I think so. We'll hang out over here. Just you can pan to the right, and we'll watch the two
warm-ups.
watch warm up since we don't have anything else going on at the moment.
Actually, this might be the start of the sets on court 2. I believe it is.
It's either that or it's the volley for serve.
You may be right on that.
Because
I don't know if there's.
Yeah, we're just seeing a lot of back and forth here. We're not seeing a lot of moving that player around, so I think this might just be that initial volley.
Warm-ups was just standing anywhere and hitting it over the net to your opponent to warm up, but they actually stood for a serve. So I believe you're correct on this volley for a serve.
And it's quite a volley here.
Yeah. If they could do this in the actual match, we'll be here till midnight.
Yeah, no real sense of urgency on these volleys, so you get the impression that it's just, yeah, there you go. You tap that up in the air and hit it to yourself. That's not allowed.
Yeah, no.
Let's hop over to set 3 or court 3, because this is set number 2, which has gotten started here as well. And here comes Coach Wallace. So I think we'll get some updates on scores and some court assignments.
Fault on that serve, so the point goes to West Aurora. The serve. They're underway again. Really nice volley here until that one hits the net, and the point goes to Oswego East. Another point there for Oswego East as that shot is missed. And they'll serve again.
All right. So updates. So over on court 1, which was the doubles team of Zoe Arsenault and Megan Tierney, they dropped set 1 by the score of 21-18. And the final score in that fourth double set, which was Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock, they lost 21-8, 21-18. So that is a win for Oswego East. So West has taken 3 of the 4 doubles matches so far, but Oswego East is up 1-0 in the 5th and final doubles matchup. Singles matchups going on. This on court 3, the one we had been watching, is Michelle Gijon Silva against Gabby Salazar, and that went to Gabby Salazar of Oswego East 21-18. So that went to Oswego East, set 1. The other matches that are getting underway, over on court 1, that's Carolina Scabito and Manya Srivasta. And on court 2, that's Natalie Castaneda and Emmy Arasa. So that's what we got going on courts 1, 2, and 3. And then court 4 is Arsenault and Tierney trying to pick up a set here in set number 2.
Let's head on over to this far court. We haven't seen
court 1.
Much over here.
Court 1, Carolina Scabito and Manya Srivasta. There's a point for Oswego East.
That one doesn't quite make it over the net or straight, so
yes, that went awry.
West will earn the point there. Nice use of some hard shots followed by some softer change-up shots.
And that's what we were talking about. That's how you get your opponent moving, right? Those hard shots typically will take them more towards that back line, and then you try to take a little bit off it and drop it just over the net to pick up a point. That's the ideal goal when you're moving your opponent around here in these singles matches.
That last shot from Oswego landed in the alley, but the alley of court 2. That is out of bounds.
Wouldn't have counted even if it landed in the alley of court 1, however.
That's true. It's singles matches now.
So we were told that Lacular La will be the next singles match that will start on whichever court opens up next. So we'll see what happens there. Let's do some court 2. Let's watch Natalie Castaneda and Emmy Rasa. Serve goes long. And this will be a point for West. You saw Natalie there. She tried to just drop that over the net, but either mishit it or didn't get enough on it and ended up short of the net. And a serve that went long. No, did not go long. Take that back.
It's another point for East. In the singles matches, the serves come from a little bit further back.
And there's a point for Natalie, is a little bit more on that return there. Drove it down into the court versus the drop shot. There's another point for West Aurora. Shot into the net.
Natalie still very close to that center line when she serves, but as I mentioned in these singles matches, a couple steps back. You're not right at that front gray line that the serve has to pass in the inner third of the court.
There's a good volley, good return, and I think that stayed in. So Castaneda with a couple of points right in a row here. I heard her say 12-9, I think is what I heard her say.
That's good hearing. I didn't even listen to that.
I hear something 9. I think she's winning. That's what we're gonna go with.
Yeah.
I think she's winning.
If you notice, every court is using white shuttlecocks. There are those neon green ones in the bucket. Did some research beforehand.
Oh, good.
There's really no difference.
Oh, okay. I was hoping there was something major.
I built that up as if there was going to be a shocking revelation, but instead it's more so just whether you're dealing with natural light or a white background.
Okay,
it's
well that makes
harder
sense.
To see these white shuttlecocks, so you need something a little bit brighter, like these tie-dye shirts.
Yep.
And the pattern on the white shuttlecock, I believe, is the same as the yellow ones, but they say the pattern itself lets in light. So a white shuttlecock letting in light
makes it brighter, easier to see.
For an outside game, or like I said, a white background.
Okay, got it. Okay. Let's head over to court 4 now, and let's take a look at the doubles matchup that's going on. This is Zoe Arsenault, Megan Tierney. They lost the first set 21-18. That'll be a point for Oswego East.
There's a really good volley going back and forth that we caught the tail end of. As you mentioned, Oswego East set to serve now.
West has taken 3 of the 4 doubles matches, looking to make it 4 out of 5 if they can come from behind here.
Nice kill shot from West Aurora to win the serve back.
Maybe another point for the Blackhawks. Another good volley, nice return right from the front of the net, and the shot from that middle line into the net, so it'll be a point for the Wolves.
I believe we had 9 hits on that last volley if you count the serve.
Love a good volley. There's a nice hard shot down the near sideline for another point for the Wolves. I think we're done with set 1 over on court 1. Unsure what the final is, but I see Caroline down there talking to Steve Wallace. Serve here for the Blackhawks as they look to stay alive in this 5th and final doubles match as they miss there. I mean, it's like trying to hit a changeup, right? When you're expecting the express and you get the local, right?
Yep.
You're expecting to hit a fastball and it's coming at you a lot slower than you anticipate, and it's just easy to just come up empty.
This matchup on court 3 has been going on for some time now, so I would imagine we're going to have a result in this second set.
There's a point
very
for
soon.
West on court 4. We can switch over to court 3 if you would like. Watch Michelle Gijon-Silva against Gabby Salazar.
That point for West is the final point.
Okay, so
I believe they won that set.
West
there
won
was some
set.
discussion at the net there, though.
Yeah, I saw a bit of a shoulder shrug. Unsure what that was about, but I think West took set 2.
This should be set 2 on court 3 here in what was the first singles match to start. Still going on.
Yep, Gabby Salazar for Oswego East took the first set 21-18.
An underhanded serve on that one.
Again, you see what she's trying to do, drive her opponent to the back line and get her moving forward and back, and Michelle did a nice job there, keeping Salazar moving on that point and ended up picking up the point. As that serve goes, I think, a little long, but also wide.
That one hits the net, so Oswego East with the point there. They'll switch sides. Another underhanded serve. Just tapped over the net, and that is the final point in this matchup, as we suspected, coming to a close relatively recently, and Oswego East takes that one.
So yeah, that'll be Gabby Salazar, I think, in straight sets over Michelle Gijon Silva. So we should see Lacalar La move here onto court 3. Let's pan over to the right, see what we see. We've got Caroline Escobedo on court 1, Natalie Castaneda on court 2. Court 1 is the court on your right. Court 2 is the court on your left, and a couple of points, I think, for Oswego East here on both courts.
No, looks like West has this serve on court 2.
Yep, Natalie Castaneda, I believe she took set 1. They've moved on to set 2 as there's a mishit from Caroline off the side of her racket.
Both West Aurora badminton athletes on the near side to us. Oswego East on the far side of the courts. Just missed as that went past the racket and the side of the Oswego East player, so that one drops in for another West point. That was a low drive shot, but able to answer was West Aurora, and they will earn another point here.
Over on court 2, that's Natalie Castaneda and Emmy Rasa. And I think that shot is it long? Nope, it was not long, so that'll be a point for Oswego East. And then over on court 1, we've got Manya Srivasta, I think just picked up a point against Caroline Escobedo on court 1. We're still waiting. We'll be waiting on the next runner to come up here and give us some updated scores as well for some of these singles matches. And I think the 5th doubles match is going to a 3rd set as well. There's a point for Oswego East.
Oswego East falling back was still able to hit that one over the net, but Caroline Escobedo tried to do the same thing and just lightly tap it, and went a little too light, didn't quite make it back over the net.
Yep, you try to take a little off it, but you got to make sure you put enough on it to get it up over the net. So that shot goes wide on court 2. That'll be another point for Natalie. I think Natalie won set 1 in her match, and we believe Caroline lost set 1 over on hers. There's a point for Escobedo. That's a nice drop shot.
These last 2 hits for Oswego East on this second court, it almost looked like the birdie didn't flip direction on her, and she caught the
backside of it.
Feathers.
Interesting.
She just didn't want to fly. It was a clean hit for the most part, but the points going to West Aurora as the birdie didn't even really move after it was hit.
Yeah, I imagine if you hit the feathers portion of it, it's not going to go anywhere. Good volley on court 2, and that shot eludes Natalie, and I think that'll be a point for Oswego East. It will be. That shot is wide.
It stayed in. That's,
Oh, it did stay in.
Oswego's point
Interesting.
there. I was looking to see. It was not in the alley, but I could not tell if it was behind the back line or not. That one lands in for Natalie, so West Aurora with another point there. That one into the back alley that time, though, so Oswego East sets up to serve. I believe we have set number, is this 3 between the doubles match on court 4?
Yep, we'll switch back over to court 4. Yep, Zoe Arsenault, Megan Tierney against Maj Mundar and Bijou Malia.
Shot into the net from Oswego, so another point for West Aurora as they will serve once again. This is our finals double matchup of the day. Everything else is moving to the way of singles matches.
Yep, West took 3 of the first 4 doubles matches. And I think that shot that landed in. No, it did not. It went wide. And from this angle, it's a little hard to tell because we're not directly overhead. We're sort of overhead and to the right. It's the serve into the net.
Oswego East sets up to serve now. Their last one went into the net just like that one, but this goes over. And West with another point. We have a new singles match getting warmed up on court 3.
Yep, that's Lakular La against Kirthana Gradubali, which means Michelle Gijon Silva and Gabby Salazar is done. We're just waiting on the official scores of that one, which we'll get at some point.
A little bit of miscommunication on Oswego East side as nobody went for that one, so it's another West point. And that is the final point.
I think that's the final point. I think West
takes that one.
I think West is gonna. Oh, I think we're in set 3, so I think we're switching sides here for
right.
point 11.
I was a little concerned as to why they didn't tap rackets and head immediately towards the coaches.
Yep, set 3, so that's point 11. So we know West is leading in set 3. We don't know what the score is, and we don't know what the score was of set 2. We just know they won. Let's hop over to court 1 while that's going on. This is Caroline Escobedo and Manya Srivasta. Caroline lost set 1, looking to stay alive here in set 2. Nice drop shot, and there's a point for Oswego East.
Yeah, Caroline was able to catch up to that one, but just didn't have enough room to pop it back over the net.
Yeah, bad angle.
That one dives too quickly on her, so another point for Oswego East. Almost heard a score there. I believe I heard a 16. So we're getting fairly close in this set.
Looking for the straight sets win over there, Srivasta. There's a nice shot along the back line. Want to head over to court 3, and we can watch Lakular La get started in her singles matchup.
That was an 8-hit volley that ended that set, so I believe Oswego took that one, as you said, on court 1.
Yep.
So Caroline Escobedo heading over to the coaches to report scores. And as you said, we'll head back over.
And at the same time, I believe we also had a completion on court 2. I believe Natalie Castaneda won on court 2, so we should have finales on both 1 and 2, so we should get some new scores and some new players out here in the next couple of minutes. This doubles matchup over on court 4 is taking forever. We do know that West hit 11 first, as they got the point that switched sides.
They'll serve here. Another point to West. as this might be wrapping up quicker than expected. The
Maybe, yeah.
birdie found its way over to court 3 and disrupted this matchup, which has begun between Lakularla and
Kirthana Gradubali.
thank you.
You're welcome. I do what I can. That return goes long. I don't think she touched it with her racket, so that will be a point for the Blackhawks.
West getting ready to serve here. Might be some confusion on the score, I think.
Well, it looks like they got it sorted out. And that serve comes up short.
This is another point for West.
Blackhawks looking to win 4 out of 5 doubles matches. And this was something when this first started, the first handful of points we saw really on all 4 courts went to Oswego East. But when it's all said and done, the Blackhawks continue to just rack up those W's.
Serve from either side goes short, so back into the hands of West Aurora. And that one
Another
hits the
serve
net.
into the net. That's about the 3rd or 4th time West has done that in this doubles match.
The last 3 points coming off of faulty serves.
And you can just see the frustration on their face. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta hit this thing 4 feet, and now you can put it into the net. And a service point for the Blackhawks. Into the net. So we do have court 2 getting loose. And then we will get the court assignments for court 2 and presumably court 1 along with some finals once we have them.
Really nice drive shot from Oswego East as they earn the point there and get another one as West Aurora bats that one into the netting.
Yeah, this could be one of those, 27, 25 set threes that just keep going because you got to win by 2 in that final set. So
Correct. You
could see some, 30 to 28s or something pretty extreme like that. These two teams going at it. This is a long match here. Good rally for these two teams. The drop shot, and there's a point for the Blackhawks. Coach Wallace up here, but without scores. So once we get those from him.
That was another nice drive shot from West Aurora.
And I think
that
that's
will
it.
Do it.
Yeah, I think the Blackhawks will actually take set 3. Zoe Arsenault, Megan Tierney lost the first set 21-18, came back to win sets 2 and 3. We'll get scores on those as soon as we can. So let's go over to court 3 because we know what's happening here. This is Lakular La and Kirthana Gradubali. Courts 1 and 2 have gotten underway, but we are unsure of who is out there on those courts.
I believe court 1 is still warming up, actually, but they are almost set to go. Court 2, you are correct. I believe they have started. I believe that's Julia Carnegie down there. I'm not sure who she's facing off against.
That would be Vanilla Velati, if that is indeed Julia, and I think you're right. I think they're just kind of going up the list here from the looks of things. Cross this off of court 2. We can cross this off of court 1. So we will see what happens as there's a point for Oswego East here on court 3.
Really talented hits on that one to, once again, bring the opponent forward and back in this court. Soft shots with a mix of a couple of long shots, as there's one right there. So that'll be a West point for Lakularla.
Serve for the Blackhawks towards that back line again, and you see that moving forward and back here on both sides, and there's a good point for Oswego East. You saw it on both ends. Trying to get your opponent moving towards that back line and then just a drop shot over the front of the net.
really nice, no pun intended, feathered shots here
Yes.
in order to just drop, as we saw it once again right there, drop that birdie right into that tough area right next to the net.
So it looks like court 2 has actually started, no longer warming up. I feel bad for Coach Wallace. He just ran all the way down the stairs and then turned and looked at you and me and then ran right back up here. So I feel bad for him.
Ask him about those tie-dye shirts if you get a chance.
Okay.
We'll take a look here at the serve from East as they earn another point, that time getting Lac-La to move east-west. Once again, no pun intended, I didn't mean to do that one, but here we go with some scores.
All right, so it is indeed Julia Carnegie over on court 2, and then Jordan Nolan has taken the court over on court 1. So just to finish up the doubles matchups, so for West, they won 4 of the 5 matchups. Natalie Jarrell, Caroline Escobedo won their matchup in 3 sets. They lost the first set 21-13, then won 21-18, 21-11. Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock lost in straight sets 21-8, 21-18. Lac-La, Natalie Castaneda won 21-19, 21-8. Jordan Nolan and Julia Carnegie in straight sets 21-17, 21-15. And then on court number 4, doubles match number 1, technically, Zoe Arsenault, Megan Tierney lost the first set 21-18, then won set 2 21-15 and set 3 21-18. So they won 2 out of 3. I'm going to write down the other scores here, and I will give those to you momentarily.
We just wrapped up on court 3 as well. I believe Oswego East getting the win here, so we'll move over to court 2 for the time being.
All right, so the singles matches that have finished so far, Caroline Escobedo lost in straight sets to Manya Srivasta 21-16, 21-19. Michelle Gijon Silva lost in straight sets to Gabby Salazar 21-18, 22-20. And then Natalie Castaneda won in straight sets 21-14, 21-14. So 2 of the 3 singles matches so far have gone the way of Oswego East, and I believe you said court 3 went the way of Oswego East in set 2, which means they're probably going to a set 3 over here.
And they're hanging around, so yeah, they should be switching sides here.
Right now we are on court 2. This is Julia Carnegie and Vanella Velati. Good rally here. Backhand save, and that shot was very close. They're going to give? Nope, not going to give Julia the point. It was very close on that back line.
I think that just snuck out.
Serve into the net, point for the Blackhawks.
We had a little bit of a fan interaction.
Yeah, you heard that.
Teammate interaction.
Yeah. Good job, Jordan.
For this first side.
You like the, I've seen some players, their matches have finished and they've left. It's definitely not as full in here as it was when we got here, but I like it when the players stay here right along the railing by us and continue to root for their friends and teammates. It's always a nice thing to see.
It was a little bit of a shocker for the players still on the court to look up and who's calling my name over here?
That's right. I believe I just heard them say this is Zoe Arsenault down on court 1, or court 4 rather. We'll see. I don't want to make any assumptions. Still learning the faces. This is a little different than doing baseball or basketball or something like that, where players have numbers and names typically on their jerseys, so you can look at a roster. Here we're trying to memorize faces. That takes a little bit of time. And there's a point for Oswego East. I want to go to court 1, I guess. It's just Jordan Nolan and Abby Hintz for the Wolves.
Looks like it was a point for Oswego on that one.
It's a big basketball matchup, Oswego East and West Aurora. And over the last couple of years, the Wolves have had the Blackhawks number. They've They beat them 4 times last season and beat them 3 out of 4 times this year. So the Wolves have had the Blackhawks number in recent seasons. It's a fun matchup. It's a lot of I've learned to really. I mean, I have no connection to West other than the athletic program. I started broadcasting basketball games with the great Neil Ormond about 4 years ago now, and I've really learned to love the sport of high school basketball and just the environment, and you get the packed Gordy Kirkman gymnasium here at West Aurora, and it's loud and it's a lot of fun, and hopefully next year we'll get the Wolves number next year. That's the hope. Court
Wolves,
1 again. Go ahead.
The Wolves have gotten the number so far in the singles matches.
Yep, won 2 out of 3.
But the doubles have gone towards West Aurora.
Yep, West
here at
4
their
out of
home
5.
court.
4 out of 5 doubles matches. So far, 2 out of 3 singles matches have gone the way of the Blackhawks. We know that Court 3 is in set 3 between Lacular La and Gradu Bali. Don't know the scores there yet, but we do know that they are in set 3. I don't think I have the score for set 1 yet. Let me take a look at that. No, I do not. Let's hop over to court 4. I believe this is Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith. Aisha wasn't on any of the doubles teams, and she's not somebody we've seen out there yet. So I believe this is Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith over on court 1. Or court 4 rather. We'll get confirmation once Coach Wallace makes his way back up here. But that's what I think is happening.
Really nice drive shot from, if you are correct, Aisha Smith there.
Yep.
And Oswego East gets the point.
Yeah, and she's tall, and to not sound obvious, I feel like the taller you are in a sport like this, the more of an advantage you have just because of that angle, right? You're able to drive that shuttlecock straight down, yes, rather than trying to position your racket to get the shuttlecock up over the net. So she's a little bit taller, so she's able to get a little bit more behind those as she's driving it straight down.
Of course, you're right. It does play a factor here, and it would in tennis as well, but this especially because the net's a little bit higher than a tennis net, of course, and you have to hit this shuttlecock overhand most of the time rather than a side shot, as you would see in tennis. So
yeah, and
that height definitely helps you make contact higher up, and you, as you said, drive it down as she did much quicker.
Yeah, the other part is that in tennis you will see a lot more play from the back line.
Right.
Rather than from the front line, just because of the speed of the projectile that you're using. So you see a lot more backline play in tennis than you do in badminton, where they're sort of playing in the middle of their zone, if you will. So it gives you the ability to drive that straight down, that angle right over the net, rather than coming in kind of more at a sloped angle. It's coming straight down. So. Bit of a different strategy, I would imagine. Much like tennis and pickleball, just because you're good at one doesn't mean you're going to be good at the other, right? I imagine this is similar. Just because you're good at tennis doesn't mean you're necessarily good at badminton. It's definitely a different skill set. So that shot goes wide, so that'll be a point for, we believe, that Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith.
You bring up another good point when
I try to.
You brought up pickleball there. It's becoming such a popular sport. I didn't even think to make that comparison, but of course, another very similar sport. You're going to see a lot of these lob shots when players make contact. So if you can picture it, the the badminton racket has to be at least straight up, so 90 degrees with the floor if you want to get any kind of a drive shot. If you make contact when you're still coming up, so if you're a pitcher in baseball, like like if you're throwing from behind your shoulder, kind of, that's when that shuttlecock is going to hit more in an arc.
Right.
Just
right.
Just an eye, something you can catch with the eye test, kind of a basic physics there. But the height, as you mentioned, once again, that is going to play a huge factor in even that.
Well, it also gives you a larger margin for error, I think, the taller you are, because even if, you're aiming to drive that shuttlecock straight down, if your angle isn't right, all that's going to happen is you're going to put it a little bit further back into your opponent's side of the court. You're not going to drive it into the net. You're not going to come up short. So, being tall is a skill, and it helps you in this sport for sure. And
I never learned that one.
No, you and me both. And just to sort of finish the pickleball conversation, I had tennis courts right up the street from my house. I live about half a mile from where Wheaton Central High School used to be. There used to be Wheaton Warrenville South, there was Wheaton North, and there was Wheaton Central, which was right on Roosevelt Road in Wheaton. That's since turned into like a Mariano's and like a recreation park. There's softball and baseball and stuff where those teams used to play. And they also had tennis courts. They're no longer tennis courts. They're now pickleball courts, yes.
Yeah.
So they turned, I think it was 4 tennis courts into, I think, 6 pickleball courts, 6 or 8 pickleball courts.
I was going to guess 8 if
yeah,
they maybe cut them in half.
I'm trying to picture it in my head as I drive by it, but you can see it's always filled. It's always filled. Pickleball is taking the world by storm.
Well, I will say roller hockey players like myself, as you know me from our Nihil days, we are a little upset with pickleball because there are only so many outdoor roller hockey courts. It's not a very common thing to have in each town, and a lot of them are getting converted into pickleball courts. So
you got to hate that as a hockey guy.
Our argument is there are so many more tennis courts that you can convert, like you just mentioned in that instance. Why not convert those? But they still decide to take the rinks from us. I guess they're not getting used enough, or maybe the park districts think they're not getting used enough, but we're still out there.
Let's hop over let's go to court 1. Let's watch Jordan Nolan and Abby Hintz. And there's a point for Jordan, as that was placed well in that near corner. Unsure of the score. We do know we are in set 2, as Jordan started on the court closer to us. And that'll be a point for the Blackhawks. So we've got 3 singles matches yet to get started. Megan Tierney, Abby Whitlock, Denise Tellez all looking to get started here, but they got to wait for courts to open up. We do have JV going on the other side as well, so that's what you see off in the distance.
It was a hard shot from Jordan Nolan that I think hit her opponent's arm. She still made contact and got it to go to the net, but not over. So
that was a really pretty drop shot there by Hintz.
When the racket fails you,
use whatever you can use. Yeah, use whatever you can use to make it work. And that shot is on the line. So there's a nice drop shot the other direction for Jordan Nolan. I don't know if we're done on court 3. I think we might be. Lacular Law's over there talking to Steve Wallace.
We were looking at that court a moment ago, but I could not tell who was winning there.
Yep, I think we are. I think that match is up. So we have a new match getting started here on court number 3, and I want to say that is Megan Tierney, I think, because those tie-dyes were on court 4
right.
for their doubles match, right? We were going with the pink theme, if you will. We're on court 4 together. So I want to say this is Megan Tierney getting loose on court 3, but right now we're watching court 1, just Jordan Nolan and Abby Hintz, as that shot lands in. So that'll be a point for the Wolves.
Process of elimination when it comes to these tie-dye shirts.
Yep. Yep. So we've got Denise Tellez and Abby Whitlock, who were the doubles pairings in and at the start. They were on court 1. They were on court 2, rather. Excuse me. At any rate, they're the only 2 singles matches ready to get started. And you can see them at the top of your screen there in the blue and blue tie-dye, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to hop over to court 2, and we'll watch Julia Carnegie and Vanilla Velati. Give Julia some screen time here for the Blackhawks. So again, our next scheduled broadcast, there's a nice shot that lands just over the net. Our next scheduled broadcast is Friday. The plan is girls softball. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we can get that match in. Have a good time doing the girls softball. Gives me an opportunity to catch up with Neil. Neil Ormond, of course, the historic, legendary West Aurora alum and player and coach, and got the football stadium named after him. And his daughter was just named the girls' tennis coach.
Wow!
So congratulations to the Ormond family staying involved in West Aurora athletics. Neil's a fantastic gentleman. I've learned a lot from him about West Aurora, the history of West Aurora, and I've enjoyed my time that I've spent with Neil and Rick as well. Rick Albright, the other legendary part of that West Aurora broadcast and coaching team. Rick was one of the coaches when West Aurora boys basketball won the state championship back in 2001. He was on the coaching staff for that team.
You got to imagine his nickname by now is Mr. West Aurora, right?
I don't think he would like that, but yeah, I mean, you hear people, I've heard people refer to him as that, but yeah, he and his family are all things West Aurora. Between Neil and Rick, they've got over 100 years experience of coaching and broadcasting experience here at West Aurora. So two guys I've learned a lot from, and I've enjoyed my time with them both. This is Julia Carnegie trying to make her name in West Aurora history as she picks up a point here.
Really good volley there. I think they're going to try to swap this shuttlecock out. Yep, they do, because that one broke mid-flight, I could tell.
Uh-oh, you saw it snap apart.
Yeah.
There's a long shot, back line to back line, and now we get drop shot to drop shot, and now back line to back line, and that one goes long. So again, you see that strategy of getting your opponent moving forward and backwards.
Yes.
And in this particular instance, it ends up as a point for Julia Carnegie for the Blackhawks. And I think court one is done, which was Jordan Nolan, or at least it's in a break.
Yeah, she is spectating over here. I think that just dropped on the line, but they're going to rule that was out, so.
Court 4 is also looks like done with set 1. We'll get scores for you as soon as we have them. So we've got Court 2, which is Julia Carnegie against Velati for Oswego East, and then Court 3, which is no longer Lacular Law. I think that's Megan Tierney against Majmundar.
I heard an 18 in that last serve
on
from
Court 2?
Julia, so I believe this one is fairly close to wrapping up in this set.
Well, then let's hang here. So if that was 18, this should be 19.
Well, that was an Oswego East point.
Oh.
That one is too, so we will continue. At least I believe if Oswego East wasn't winning with that 18 score line beforehand.
There's a nice shot from Julia that had some oomph, some Chinese mustard, to quote my favorite hockey broadcaster. Some Chinese mustard behind that one.
Not only are these courts riddled with pieces of birdie, but also a couple hair ties I see out there.
Yeah, this probably requires a little bit more sweep up than most of the other sports in here. You know, when this is over, you got to clean up the nets, you got to tear everything down, and then I think you really got to pull out those brooms and make sure you get everything. That'll be a point for Oswego East.
Should be wrapping up shortly here on Court 2. And we'll get you over to Court 3 and 4.
That shot goes long, and I think that will do it. So we get the racket to racket. I think that was a loss for Julio. We will find out, because I couldn't really see if that shot was in or out, but I believe that was out. And yep, I think that's going to be a win over there, just based on the way that Velati is celebrating with her teammates over there. So we'll switch over to Court 3. Let's go to Court 3. Court 3, which I believe is Megan Tierney. So we'll watch this for a couple of minutes. We do know Court 4, which is Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith, is in set 2. will land wide.
Another point for Oswego.
And that's a hard shot, but goes wide again.
She's found the alleys twice, but Megan Tierney not able to place it in the singles area.
And now she finds the other alley on the other side. So that's 3 straight points here for Oswego East.
That one doesn't make it over the net, and Oswego will lose the serve. West Aurora getting the point.
Hard shot from the back line, and once again finding the alley. So that shot landing just a little wide on either side. And we might be going to set 3 here with Julia Carnegie and Velati, because Julia's still out there. So I think Julia won set 1, lost set 2, I think is what we're looking at.
Yeah, they are setting back up here on court 2, just switching sides.
So I believe that's where we're going there on court 2, because I did see they are back out there. We're right now on court 3, which we believe is Megan Tierney. In fact, I'm so confident in it, I'm going to pen it in my on my score sheet here. And I think that landed in. Good rally, couple of tight shots, and then just dropping it over the head of your opponent. You want to head over to court 4, watch Zoe. Zoe and Aisha Smith. Zoe Arsenault, Aisha Smith, set 2. Unsure who won set 1, but we do know that that's a wicked slam from Zoe there into the body of Aisha, and that's exactly what you want to do when you're trying to knock down that slam, that spike, whatever you want to call it, is put it right into the body of your opponent so that they can't move and get that racket on it.
Couple of nice rallies I was seeing over here while we were still on court 3, and I believe West Aurora couldn't believe their eyes on one of them, but the points have gone back and forth, so it's pretty much impossible for us to tell here who is winning in this second set. That we do know, though. It is the second set.
We do know it is the second set, yes. Beyond that, we are waiting for runners. Aisha puts it into the net for another point for the Blackhawks. This is Zoe Arsenault. Zoe was part of the 5th and finals double team that got started. Her partner, Megan Tierney, they won in 3 sets. They lost set 1, 21-18, then came back with a 21-15 and 21-18 victory.
Momentary pause as I believe, well, I thought they were going to get another shuttlecock there, but
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on over on court 4 as Zoe Arsenault makes her way.
I guess
I think they ran out. I think they ran out of shuttlecocks, so they had to grab one out of a new bucket. And over on court 3, we had a tap of the sticks. I don't know if that means it's over or if we're on to another set or not. Court 3. I think that was just the first set between Tierney and Majmundar. So, yeah, I believe set 1 is no longer Jordan Nolan and Abby Hintz. Not sure. We do have a new matchup on court 1. I believe, I want to say Abby Whitlock. Over on court 1. We'll see as soon as Coach Wallace gets up here, but I believe that's Abby Whitlock and Nishka Bijumala. We only have one singles match that hasn't started yet. That's Denise Tellez against Sri Siva. There's a nice return to the empty side of the net.
Oswego East set to serve.
Into the net for a point for Oswego East.
Couple of nice hard shots on that court, and then both players were looking to go a little bit softer and change it up, and just a little too soft from West Aurora on that one.
Well, there's a nice drop shot though for, again, I believe that's Abby Whitlock. It's either Abby Whitlock or Denise Tellez. I believe that's Abby though. Here's a shot that goes long and I think also wide. Nice return.
Couple really nice answers. I believe that should be West's point.
Yep, it is. That was a good one-on-one rally and another point for the Blackhawks. They're switching sides on court 2. If we want to switch over to that, or are they done?
This may be switching sides because I believe this is set
the
3,
set
as
3,
you were
yeah.
mentioning, and this would have been a very quick set 3.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Can head over to this court 3.
Court 3, which is Megan Tierney and Krisha Majmundar. Shot into the net.
Megan Tierney to serve.
Oh, and just a bit of a mishit there by Tierney. She had Majmundar exactly where she wanted her. She had her pinned sort of in the back left corner of her side and tried to drop it over the net on the right, but just not able to get much on it and put it into the net.
Yeah, as you mentioned, had her opponent in that corner, also just watching the play develop rather than moving back to the center, and she just couldn't get that shot back over the net.
Reaching back behind her head to play that one, and then on the return, that's a point for Oswego East. I think hit the top of the net. Good return by Oswego East, and that one I think will go long. It will. It'll be a point for the Blackhawks.
Just a miss hit on that one, so another point for Oswego.
Weird angle, right? Like almost on the backhand, but trying to hit the shuttlecock with the racket on the forehand. Just it's just a hard angle to hit that from.
Serve from Oswego.
Into the net. Let's head over to court 4. Watch Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith go at it. That'll go wide for a point for Oswego East.
Seen a couple really nice rallies even when we were on other courts between these two on court 4 here.
There's an easy point for Smith.
You can see Oswego East's coach watching this matchup closely, as I'm pretty sure this one is nearing a finale.
Yeah, and there is a score up on the scoreboard. Like if you look at the basketball scoreboard, there is one up there that says 16-12, and it just updated. I just don't know what court that refers to. It says 16-12 right now, and I did just see it update, so I'm not sure which court that belongs to.
That is interesting. It's not this court 4 because we have seen 2 points go by as of now, and it has not changed.
Right, it's not court 3 because there was just a point there and nothing updated. Might be court 2. Nope, not court 2.
Interesting.
I did just see it update, so I wonder if it's none of the courts, and I'm
wondering where the scorekeeper even is sitting, see who they're possibly even looking at. But as you said, yeah, no updates have been made.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen the scoreboard get used here is for basketball, and you've got the padded, scores table that gets brought out for those games. So I'm not sure.
It
just
just
updated
updated
17-12, but I don't know what court that was on.
Well, it looks like they have wrapped up here on court 4. I'm not sure if that's just the second set or if they will be headed to a third.
Let's say, I think, I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions. So let's head over to court 2 and watch Julia Carnegie and Vanella Velati, who we know are approaching the end of set number 3.
Yeah, they have already switched sides here in set 3, so somebody is at 11 and then some. A really nice volley going on right now.
A couple of nice drop shots. Carnegie now back to the back line and just wide as she puts that into the alley. Hopefully we get some scores here at some point in the relative near future. I know Coach Wallace has more important things to do, like coach up his players. I'm confident that he'll give us those scores before we say goodbye, though, so we can tell you exactly what's going on.
The scoreboard now reads 18-12, so I'm not sure where we're even getting these numbers from, or if it even applies here.
It feels like it has to apply. It's definitely a badminton score. We just don't know where they're keeping track of the points.
It was not on the court we are currently watching because there was a shoe being tied.
Yep, as that shot goes long, so that'll be there's Julia telling her where that landed. I don't want to say miscommunication or disagreement there, but Julia did put the racket down on the court and say this is where it landed. So Carnegie puts that one, I think, long.
As we go east, setting up to serve. So, yes, that was their point. And the Blackhawks, Julia Carnegie, trying to get back on the score sheet here, and she won't with that one. And that is the final point there. It looks as though Oswego has taken it on court 2.
Yep, Vanilla Velati celebrates there with what I think is a victory. And I think we have a final on court 3 as well.
No action going on in court 1. It looks like they're waiting to report scores. So we have an odd conundrum here.
There's
we have
literally nothing going on.
Matches being played at the moment.
Yeah, we only have court 1, which is no longer Jordan Nolan. We think that's Abby Whitlock. Still waiting on the scores, really from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each of the last 6 matches that have started, we're waiting on scores for those. There's only one match that hasn't gotten started. That's Denise Tellez and Sri Siva. And over on court 4, Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith are going to a 3rd set.
I would ask which court you want to see, but
it's the only one that's going.
Yep.
Only one that's going right now.
We'll get you back to the action here. As we mentioned before, a couple of really nice rallies between these two on court 4. They'll look to finish this up in what I believe is the 3rd
set. It will be the 3rd set, yep, so they'll switch sides again at 11.
Got 20-12 now up on the scoreboard.
I wonder if it's the JV match down on the far side of the court.
You know, it could be. But there's a point there, and I have not seen the score change.
I don't know. I'm going to stop trying to guess. I just don't know. As there's a shot that lands inside that line, that'll be a point for the Blackhawks.
I'd say it's the scores of who's taken what sets, but those numbers seem too high. We haven't had that many sets today.
And it did just update to 21-12, but I don't think none of the matches ended. So maybe they're just pushing buttons.
Could be.
Could be.
I still have yet to find whoever's keeping score here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Here's a serve here for Aisha Smith, as that's a nice shot right there from Zoe Arsenault, right over the front of the net.
What's interesting is that 12 has not changed.
No.
So
no.
I'm starting to think we're on the right track of this doesn't mean anything as far as women's badminton today.
Correct. That shot from Aisha Smith stays in, so it'll be a point for Oswego East. There's another point for Oswego East. Again, we're just waiting on scores. West took four of the 5 doubles matchups, and we're just waiting on the scores from 6 singles matchups as Oswego East took 2 out of 3.
There's another point for Oswego on this 4th court. On the 3rd court, our 10th and final singles matchup getting warmed up.
Yep, it's Denise Tellez and Sri Siva on court 3. And there is nobody on court 2 as Julia Knigge's match ended there. So we've got courts 1, 4, and 3 going, and these are the final 3 matches of the day.
Who is on court 1 right now?
Abby Whitlock and Nishka Bijumala.
This is their second set.
You want to switch over to them?
Yeah, we might as well.
We're talking about them. May as well switch over to them. We can switch back to court 4 when those two switch sides in their third set. When they switch to 11. Here's a nice shot down that near line by Whitlock.
She'll set up to serve. Nice placement on that one.
Yeah, very nice. Last point she took down that far, or that near sideline. This one she drops right over the front of the net. And that serve on the wrong side. If it landed on the far side of the court, needed to stay on the near side.
Gotta pass that center line.
Here's a nice drop shot. Now she's pushed back. Good rally here. And a bit of a miss hit into the net. That'll be a point for the Blackhawks.
Really nice placement from Whitlock there again as she wins another serve and another point for the Blackhawks.
I'm going to send Mike down to try to get some scores here from Coach Wallace. We can give you some updates on these singles matches that have started and ended. So I'll run double duty here on camera and broadcast on court 1 for Abby Whitlock and Bijumala. Looks like Abby's having a pretty good set here. Serve towards the back line. And there's another nice point. Had her opponent moving back to her right and then brought it down the near side to pick up another point. And I think that's the end of the set. That went to Abby Whitlock. So we're going to go ahead and swing over here. And let's go over to court 3. And watch Denise Telez and Sri Siva in action. And I think that shot went just long. Mike is back, so he can throw his headphones on and he can give us some scores. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm going to kind of go off of what you are missing here.
I'm missing really just the top 6.
Gotcha. Okay, so we do have results for the
first set. Looks like Abby Whitlock 21-19.
Yes.
Okay.
Where was that at? 21-19 there. Zoe Arsenault.
Yep.
21-18 and 21-17.
She lost 21-17 in the second set, so that's what we're seeing over here on court 4.
Megan Tierney lost 21-11
Yep.
and then 21-13, so that was a loss in just 2 sets.
Straight set loss for Megan. All right.
Jordan Nolan, 21-12. She lost that first set, and 21-10 she lost the second set. So another 2-set loss for West Aurora. The Julia Knigge match, as we saw, went to 3 sets. That was 21, I believe that's a 14.
Okay,
she won the first one.
Set, yep.
21-18, she lost the second.
Yep.
And same score, 21-18, she lost the third.
And Lacular La.
Lacular La lost the first set, 21-12, and the same score for that second set, 21-12.
Okay, so the singles matchups going the way of Oswego East here for sure, as they've taken 6 out of the 7 singles matchups. West looking to finish strong. Denise Telez in set 1 here on court 3. Abby Whitlock in court 1 is up 1-0. And then on court 4, Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith are in set 3. What are we looking at right now? Are we on court 3 right now?
Court 3, yes.
This is Denise and Sri Siva.
I'm ready to move because I know both courts 1 and 4 are wrapping up. At least court 4 should be. They should be in that third set.
They are in the third set. I don't believe they've switched sides yet, though.
I don't know if we've gotten scores for that, have we?
No. No, that's Zoe Arsenault and Aisha Smith. That's 21-18 for Zoe in set 1.
Right.
And then 21-17 for Aisha in set 2. And there's a serve that goes awry on set 4. Let's go over to court 4.
Yeah.
And we'll watch Zoe and Aisha. So the doubles matches went the way of the Blackhawks. Singles matches have been all Wolves so far. Only Natalie Castaneda, who won 21-14, 21-14, has kept this from being a clean sweep for the Blackhawks, or for Oswego East. And believe...
You know, I don't think they switched sides, but I thought they just said good game at the net there.
I think Aisha
so that
Smith.
might be the end.
I think Aisha Smith walked away with a victory there. She got a fist bump from her coach. So I think that's another Oswego East victory. We'll get confirmation here in a minute, but if so, that's going to be a little frustrating for Zoe. She won set 1 21-18 and then dropped the next 2. So we only have one match left going on here. This is Denise Tellez and Sri Siva. Looks like Abby Whitlock is done as well.
Court 1 wrapped up quickly. I know I didn't take too long to run down there, but it looks like as though that second set wrapped up rapidly.
Yes, it did. So we're going to stick right here on court 3 and watch Denise and Sri battle in set 1.
You think it's a little nerve-wracking? All eyes on
all
them.
eyes on you? I don't know. That shot goes wide. That'll be a point for Tellez.
She serves. May have been going out, but Oswego choosing to play that one, and that lands as their point. So no harm done there.
Placed well, and a spike attempt, slam attempt, whatever you want to call it, into the net.
I'm a little confused by that because that was Oswego slamming that one into the net, but then also getting the serve.
That's a good point. I don't know.
This might be what happens when all eyes are on them. Is a little confusion, maybe?
Maybe. And now the scoreboard says 30-12, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. As that bit of a mishit for Oswego East. Point goes to the Blackhawks.
Well, they're not going by sets on that scoreboard because there have been a couple of sets won by West that, you know, if that was a 12 representing how many sets they've won, that should have moved since that scoreboard was even just put up. As you mentioned, it has been a lot of Oswego East here in the singles matches, so I could see the 30 climbing.
Yeah, well, there haven't been
31.
There haven't been 43 sets.
Yeah, no.
In this match today, so I'm just going to give up. I'm going to pretend I don't see it. We're just going to watch Denise and Sri Siva go at it here on court 3.
When we had a free moment, I was going to pan over to that scoreboard for the viewers, but considering it doesn't mean anything here, I don't think we'll need it. And that lands in the net. So it looks like set 1 is over with Oswego East winning that one.
Yeah, it's weird. The doubles matches almost entirely dominated by West Aurora. They took 4 of the 5 doubles matches. Singles match is a completely different story, though. It has been all Wolves so far.
They only lost 2 sets in those doubles matches. Oh, sorry. No, because there was a loss in there. So four sets in those doubles matches.
Yep, they looked pretty good in the doubles matches, but singles matches have been a grind here for the Blackhawks. They've only won a couple of singles sets here this afternoon.
During the intermission here, Oswego East having a little fun on court 1. 4 of their players have struck up a pickup game.
Sure, pickup game. You gotta love a good pickup game.
A little practice in on your doubles matches, maybe, just because they did better in the singles. As we get set for Denise Tellez to switch sides and resume here for West Aurora in set 2.
Yep, Sri Siva and Denise Tellez, the only two to continue, as all 5 doubles matches and 9 of the 10 singles matches have been completed so far. And when that match is over, we'll give it a minute and we'll see if Coach Wallace is able to run us up the scores here, and so we can give you all the scores for the rest of the matches. But if not, I understand. Busy man. These guys are obviously, they're not just coaches. Most of them are teachers as well. So maybe he's got some papers he has to grade when he's done coaching and he's got to get out of here. That shot goes wide.
Denise will earn that point. The previous point went to Oswego East, but Denise had a couple of really nice shots in there. You could see her smiling, really pleased with her performance, but unfortunately one snuck by her.
That one goes long.
That one spiked right down into the same hardwood that Sri Siva was basically standing on, so another point for West Aurora.
Looks like a pitcher when you spike that curveball at 55 feet rather than 60, right? Just throw it straight down. Back towards the back line. Good rally here, and there's a point for Denise.
Swing and a miss for Sri Siva.
And as we stick with the baseball analogies.
I figured I'd throw one in there.
Appreciate that.
That one, I believe, went long. No, it stayed in. So another point for West Aurora. And the Blackhawks serve again in this final matchup.
Ooh.
Really nice overhead shot there, and she does win the point as she taps it over the net.
That was a nice return for Siva, but Denise able to just drop it in for a point. There's another point for Tellez. She's racking up some points in rapid succession here.
Now, Oswego won the first set between these two, so if Denise Tellez can win this second set, they will go to a third. And the eyes will continue to be on them as this final matchup wraps up for women's badminton today.
Now, point for Oswego East. They'll take the serve. Denise misses the backhand. Here's a nice drop shot with the backhand, and it's shot wide.
Oswego able to catch up to that drop shot, but just sent it too far back to her left for Sri Siva to earn the point on that one. Another point for Denise as West Aurora looks to be taking the lead in this second set.
Yeah, that was an easy point for Denise. Drop shot, that one. Denise lets it land. Oh, I guess that stayed in. Looked like that may have been a little long, but
I almost thought that was in the back alley, but apparently that's Oswego's point. Denise misses that one, so Oswego, Sri Siva will get another one and another serve. Denise has a really nice overhand shot here, and it almost comes over the back of her head if she has to reach for it.
Yeah, they bring the racket back like behind their head almost. It's an awkward angle, but
gets the job done.
It does. Into the net.
Another tap shot from Denise. Trying to get her. Oh, wow,
she almost
kill shot.
Yeah, she jumped with that one. That was a jump spike.
Really getting comfortable in this second set here. Not able to hear any scores being said, but I imagine they're getting pretty close to a finale here.
That landed, I think, on the line. Oh, okay.
Landed in the alley, I guess they're
All
ruling.
Right, that's fair. Again, self-management. Honor system, whatever you want to call it. That'll land long.
And he's putting her racket up to signal that She has won the point, and it's out of bounds. I think she may have lost that point, though, as Oswego sets up to serve.
That was a nice shot right over the top of the net. Low line drive from Siva. So again, West really dominated the doubles matches, winning 4 out of 5, but singles matches have been a different story. That lands in as well. Singles matches have been all Oswego so far. I think with 2 exceptions. We think Abby Whitlock won in straight sets over on court 1. That second set ended really, really quickly. So we think Abby Whitlock won there, and then Natalie Castaneda won. But all the other singles matches have gone the way of the Wolves.
West with another spike on that one. A kill, as they say.
And that's a pretty drop shot from Denise. And I think this set's coming to an end here shortly. No score given. Into the net.
Denise Tellez switching sides to serve once more. Underhanded serve.
Well, that landed in. That's a pretty shot. It's a pretty shot from Denise.
Sri Siva was there. I think she thought it was going to be out of bounds, but just barely caught inside.
That one is wide.
I think Sri thought that was the 21st point. She was heading towards the net and realized Denise was set to serve again.
Yeah, I saw that too. She had that racket held up a little bit and then walked back a little.
And that is the final point there.
For that set.
I believe that went to West Aurora, so...
Felt like it had to, right? Denise had a lot of points in a row there.
So, considering the first set, I believe, went to Oswego, we will be set for a third set. And the way they're talking to their coaches right now, I don't think anybody's leaving anytime soon. So,
nope.
We will have a third set in our 10th and final singles matchup of the day.
Yeah, so the 5th and final doubles matchup went to 3 sets, and that was a hotly contested battle that went the way of the Blackhawks. The 10th and final singles match is going to go to a third and a final set as well. Get the fist bump, and Denise is ready to go. Let's do that badminton, as they say, right? So once again, our next scheduled broadcast is this upcoming Friday, 4:30. Girls softball is next up on our schedule here on Stream Sports Midwest. Next week, we don't have anything going on, so there will be no broadcast next week, but the final 2 weeks of April and the first 2 weeks of May, we're hopeful to bring you 2 to 3 broadcasts a week until the season ends, and hopefully we'll be outdoors for a lot of them. I know we've got, I don't know how many more badminton matches we have. I don't think we have another one, honestly. I think it's mostly baseball, softball, and maybe a soccer match in there as well. I don't have the entire schedule in front of me right now, but I think my partner, Mike Napolitano, is efforting.
Yeah, no, I don't see any more in my schedule.
Okay.
Of course, I could have.
Well, your schedule is my schedule. All right, set 3's underway, and the first point goes long. Yep, so it'll go to Tellez.
Tellez serving underhand. And
Another
drive
point for Natalie.
Hits the net from Oswego.
And this would be a nice way to finish for West, as they've suffered quite a few losses here in these singles matchups. But if they can win the final 2, Abby Whitlock, we believe, defeated Nishka Bijumala in straight sets. And if Denise can win here, you at least walk out of here winning your final two final singles matches of the day. Combine that with a really successful doubles schedule, and you feel pretty good about things. Natalie with the first 4 points of the match. And just as I say that, it goes to Oswego East.
goes under the net, so 2
That's not
points in a
allowed.
row.
That
for
is not
East.
allowed. You can't do that. That's going to go, I think, long and wide. Yep, that'll be a point for Denise. Oh, into the top of the net.
So I believe 4-3 here.
Nice save by Tellez there, and really good rally. Couple of drop shots.
Wow.
Yeah, that's impressive. Back to the back line and just wide. That was a pretty rally right there between those two.
Oswego getting the point. She said 4-5 there, so that would be
4-6 now, I think. If that
bit
score is correct,
yes.
and I'm going to assume it's correct because they self-govern.
Yes.
So we'll go with what they say.
This should be 5-6.
And it's on cue. That'll be a point that lands in.
7-5 here on the serve.
We'll do our best to keep track of that. And just long.
Oswego trailing by a point basically here. 6-7. They go down 2, and then it seems as though they come back with 1. So
And now
just
we're tied.
trading.
Yeah, I think we're tied now, though.
Yep, that should be the 7th point for Oswego.
Yep, 7-all, heard her say.
Isn't it
There we
nice
go.
when we've got only
We've only
one
got the
game?
one match going on. We can pay attention to what they're saying down on the court, for sure. Undivided attention.
This will be 8-7
8-8.
and 8-8. This is going to go the distance, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
As both sides, teammates-wise, look on.
Yeah, we got a lot of people watching this match. And that is wide. So now 9-8 for Denise Tellez here in set 3.
9-9.
9-9. Serve right into the overhand return for Sri Siva.
Not that I wasn't before, but I am invested now. A tie score
in the
our
third set. You
final
love it.
set of our final matchup.
Yep, so that should be 10-9 now in favor of Oswego East. Ooh.
11-9, so they should be switching sides now.
Yep, and that's exactly what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Sri Siva forgetting the
Yes, forgot the
switching
rules
side,
for a second.
was about to serve and realized Denise Tellez was on her side of the court already.
All right, so it's 11-9. 11-9 in favor of Oswego East here in the third and final set. 4 of 5 doubles matches taken by West Aurora, and so far we believe, we don't have scores for 2 of the 3 matches that have been finals so far, but we believe 7 of the 9 singles matches have gone to the Wolves here.
They'll start up the second half of the third set.
Backhand drop shot, and again, now up to the net, and that's a pretty birdie, I guess. I was gonna say pretty ball, but it's not a ball. Pretty birdie by Siva. Overhand shot, dropped it in just over the top of the net.
12-9 the score in favor of Oswego in this final set.
13-9. It looks like Denise, that back leg kind of slipped out from behind her a little bit on that shot, which forced her to put it into the net. Uh-oh. Yep, you're just waiting for you just saw Denise stand there like she knew it was coming, just turned her back to it and said, "All right, good point." Good run here by Siva.
Denise had the lead at first. There should be a point for her, so that's her 10th of the day. I believe it's 10 serving 14.
I believe you're right.
But she had the lead here, and it's almost as if Sri Siva is able to read her opponent real well and come back with a number of points in a row
I
to
think
take the lead.
I think we're at 15-10.
Oh, it might be 15. You're right.
Well, it was 15 on that last point. I think now it's 16. But unfortunately, we can no longer lip read because her back is facing us. Maybe fatigue setting in a little bit for Denise. Some of these shots coming up short.
It might be 17-10 there. I believe that's what she just said. Ooh, and that one hits Denise.
That one caught her in the mush, as they say. Holding that left cheek.
That one doesn't quite make it back over.
So we should be 18-11.
See if Denise can go on a run of her own here now that she has the serve. It's a high serve.
Oh, this is a fun rally. And a drop shot into the net.
Really well done by both sides to keep that going, but it's Oswego East coming up with the point, and Shrisiva a couple of points away from a victory here.
Should be 19-12, I believe, is what we're looking at. Is that what you have?
That's what I have in my
All right,
brain.
cool. Of course, the scoreboard here at West Aurora says 48-12, but I don't think that's it. All right, I think we got match point here. And that should do it. That is it right there. That is a 21-12 loss for West in Game 3, and I believe that means that Oswego East is going to take 8 out of 10 singles matches, while West takes 4 out of 5 doubles matches here from West Aurora on this snowy Wednesday afternoon in Aurora. So that's going to do it. Weather permitting, Mike and I will see you on Friday for softball. First pitch set for 4:30. We'll be live probably about 4:15, 4:20 to let you come in and get settled and get whatever beverage you like to watch softball, and we'll bring you some girls softball hopefully Friday at 4:30. So that's it. That'll do it here from West Aurora High School. West Aurora, 4 out of 5 doubles matches. They lose 8 out of 10 singles matches. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Stay warm.